Linebackers, you've done. You're going to stay for receivers, you can. Bobby, I know you got to get going. You can leave if you got to go.
Before I start, if there's anything specific you want me to touch base on, don't be afraid to stop me in the middle of a sentence, and we can try to work on it. Some of the things that Daryl showed in the beginning there with the feet, there's a diagram. I'll just quickly go over them. We won't do too much of it. They're very similar to that. This first one, you can see that. Also, my cell phone number's there. If you want to call, don't hesitate. If I don't answer it, I will get back. I don't carry it with me.
Are you available during the games?
What's that?
Are you doing the games?
We're not playing
our
here.
games or his games?
Don't go in during our games. I used to get yelled at a lot. But the only difference is anytime we're doing any of the drills, like you saw with the linebackers, it's very similar. The one I have diagrammed here, that 5-yard square, we want the quarterback carrying the ball in a ready position. I call it loaded. So, okay. And we practice that because if we're throwing, whether we're in a spread formation or under center, the most problems that quarterbacks have, they can stand 10 yards apart and throw the ball, and everybody's going to say, well, they have great arm. They have a great arm. Well, all of a sudden you get in the game and the ball's never delivered on the time you want it delivered. And that's because of the feet. Some of the great quarterbacks, Peyton Manning especially, I know his problem was neck up, but if you watch him, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but his feet never stop, and he's always on balance. I saw a clinic about 2 months ago over at Del Barton, and the guy that's the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach of Fairleigh used the term, which I think is a really good term. He said, get the platform, and I call it staying in balance, and that's that position you all talk about, a good football position. And the feet are very important in that too. If you got a quarterback that's taking a big stride, the ball's going to be all over the place. If his platform's good and he's rotating on his long axis here, he's probably going to be much more accurate than he could be if he tries to overthrow the ball. So if we're doing this square, we don't need to mark it out. He's going to backpedal, okay, and he's going to go, and then he's going to come forward again, and then he's going to karaoke. Okay, so that I do before we start throwing. And again, the other reason I like to do a lot of these drills, and I can remember 45, 50 years ago when I started coaching, we'd throw for an hour. And we'd throw for an hour the next day, and you know what happens on the third day? Coach, I can't throw, my arm is sore. So, that's something you have to keep in the back of your mind, because you're going to do those drills, and then you're going to go to your group or your teamwork and your group work, and he's going to throw another 30 passes, and all of a sudden you don't have him anymore. Okay, so don't be afraid to work on the feet as long as they're carrying the ball the way they are. Some of the other things that we're going to do, I just want him. He's gonna run at me, just carrying the ball. Now he can do this, or he can do what you saw. Go back. Either way, it's good. Especially if I'm rolling out and I'm carrying that ball up, he can. That's a normal running position, okay? Because you don't tell your kid to run with his arms down to his side, not using them. And I don't care which way they do it. If he's comfortable using this, he can use it. If he's not, he can just load it and run at me, which I like too. Okay, just load it this time. Okay, because really, that's the position. No matter whether I'm throwing it straight from a 3, 5, or 7-step drop, or I'm in a soft roll, or I'm sprinting out, if I'm going to throw the ball, if I'm not in that position, by the time I get in that position, the window could close, the coverage could get to him at the point. And what we're doing, and we can talk about this if you want on the side, because this gets a little bit more something you got to work on. We're throwing reading coverage. So, basically if the strong safety goes there, we're going to throw here. If he goes there, we're going to throw there. And we want to be ready to throw when that happens. So, and again, at any level, I'm going to be able to throw the ball when I want. Okay? The next thing we do is I'm just going to have him carry the ball up there and karaoke it to me. Regular karaoke, just, there you go, okay? And again, that's quick feet. The other thing on here, on this diagram that you see, I'm not going to make him do this because we haven't worked on it. But we use one of those pads, and you can see the number 2 there in 10-second spurts. He's gonna line up on next to one of those. He's going to lead with the right, okay, and then he's going to come back. So you can see I'm crossing my feet here. So you know I don't have a watch on him, but he's gonna do that for 10 seconds. Then he lines up on the other side, and he leads left, right over, and he's got to come back. So you know he's going to fall on the ground at some point. But again, it's just getting the hips working, getting the balance going. We won't try that because we haven't done that yet. This is what we're going to try. This next one is very similar to what Coach showed you on those dummies. And again, carrying the ball up high in that loaded position. And again, when they're going, if they want to do this, don't discourage them because it's all about hips and running. The fourth one, I'm going to have him do this because he can't hurt himself. He's going to be about shoulder width, and I call it just chewing gum. You know, feet very close to the ground, chopping them, and he's going to turn clockwise. And I want him to go full 360 and then come back again. Okay? And again, once he does one set, then we stop him. Chop this, we can turn right around that cone now. Here we go. And back. The other way. Okay, good. Now, we'll do this every day. Now, eventually, you see I got a clock diagram down there. We would do that. Okay, we need a receiver out here. Somebody that can't get hurt, we need 4 of them. 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, okay? You only need 4, guys. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Guys, 7 o'clock. It's not digital.
Okay. Watch out behind him. 12, 3, 6, 9. He's going to go, and I'm just going to, at some point, I'm going to call out the time on the clock. He's got to set and just deliver the ball. Now, don't kill him. You're not that far away from him. There you go. Go. 3. Well, and the key is that when he changes, I like to call it converting. When I convert from one direction, he's over here and he converts to there. He's got to get these guys around, and the ball can't drop. That's something he's going to go. We'll do it one more time. That was pretty good, though. Ready? I don't know if I'm going to call you now. I just want to make sure you're ready. I want you to get it. Ready? Go. 12. Okay. All right. And, you know, those things are going to do every day, and there's a ton of them that we can do with the feet. You can invent those. Anything you can do to keep that platform and throwing on that vertical axis is good. Okay, you guys used to. You can stay here with me. Interesting point because I talked about that axis, and somebody asked me about this last week. I said, and I'm an awful golfer, but you know, if I'm throwing a football, and I watch the Golf Channel. That's the only way I can see good golf. I don't play it, but they talk about the belt buckle should be where you want to hit the ball. If I'm throwing, it's the same thing. I know guys talk about step to the left of the target. Too much thought for me. It's just that I'm going to finish up with everything going in that direction. So all the drills we do are aimed at that. Just 2 things a little bit different that we've been working on with one knee. What we used to do is start out, is we put it on the ground and we say, okay, we're kind of simulating taking a snap, at least get the time. What I want to do first is, I'm always big on rotating the shoulders, but all I want to do first is just snap the ball without turning anything. Just keep your shoulders squared to me. Just snap it out at me. There you go. Snap it. What I look for is I try to tell them to get this arm as high as you can, because realistically speaking, if you put a pad on your shoulders, you've all worn a pad, you know you're not going to get much above this. Okay? So I'm doing it, and I just focus on where I want the ball to go. Snap it. Okay? we can go down here. Snap it. And again, I tell our quarterbacks, and any quarterback I've ever worked with, is when you're doing these drills, overemphasize all this stuff, because again, realistically in a game, it's not going to happen. I tell them, show your big numbers on the back. Okay. And I learned this at this clinic a couple weeks ago. Now, you know, over 50 years ago, I started playing the game, and we always did this, and this is something new I learned, and I think it's a good one. Have the quarterback hold the ball now, up, and if you're throwing shotgun, if you're running any shotgun, he's getting used to catching the ball and throwing it. If he just throws it to himself. This is something, you know, you just see him put the ball and then he wound up. Okay? Right? And if you got the older kids, the 7th and 8th graders, there's another thing you can do. Get yourself 4 or 5 footballs.
Need some?
Give me a couple.
Guys, need a couple of those footballs.
This is for your older guys. I would not do this for the little guys. This is a little bit tougher. Okay?
On the line.
Couple of you guys go over there because we don't know where they're going to go. Don't stand in front of anybody. All right. I think today, I don't know if I wrote it on there. This is, you can write this down. It's called a popcorn drill. Okay? I'm not going to give them much rest. I'm going to flip them these balls. Don't worry about laces or anything. Just get rid of it. Okay? We'll see how this works with you. Okay. That's again, if you're doing shotgun stuff, that's a great drill for shotgun. And they don't have to grab the laces. I mean, that's something I learned a long time ago too. Sometimes, you know, they'll get a bad snap and they're fiddling around. Next thing you know, the rush is there, coverage is there. You don't need the laces to throw the ball.
If we do that drill, what is it we're looking for the quarterback to do? Just be able to handle the ball and release it?
Well, I was just looking at him because I said a lot of times when they rush, okay, this is where this really is where zip comes from. Okay, and you know, if this is the way you guys teach it, that's okay with me too. But I'm of a if you see this, if I'm hopping into that throw, and I'll talk about that a little more in a minute. If I'm hopping into the throw, if the window I want to throw into is now, and I hop, I can't really release the ball till I get my base to that platform's on the ground. Okay, so if I'm dropping back or I'm rolling out, I want to keep a good base, and we're going to do a couple drills for that stuff. I like them when they're ready to tall, and they can move their feet because, you know, I may be looking here, and all of a sudden my coverage tells me I'm going to throw over here. So I'm here. Okay. So we're always moving our feet. For lack of a better term, we just call it chewing gum. Okay? Now, next drill. I think I have it on there. The next page. We go on progression. Okay, we did those three. Any questions on those three from the kneeling section there? I think this is probably one of the better drills for the good high release. Kids have trouble with this, even the older guys. I'm gonna push the ball as high as I can and I'm gonna lean until I fall off balance. As I'm pushing it, I'm loading it. Okay. Once I fall, I'm gonna lean and I step after the release. So push it up, load it. Now that's one of his better releases. This is a great drill with that good high release. So
Does it matter which foot he steps with when he's falling?
not enough to be true. I never worry too much about which foot. I mean, even in the drill, I said have wrong foot, correct foot. If I'm in a 3, 5, or 7 step drop, I probably should be like this. Okay. If I'm moving, there is no wrong foot. The only thing that would be wrong is if I'm stepping this way and I'm trying to throw that way. I always say, if I'm on the move, and whether it's a soft roll or I'm sprinting out, I always tell them, one step in the circle. If it's this one, fine. If it's this one, fine, because I'm still got enough taking the same step. As long as I'm going where I want to go. Okay, but I really like this drill. As you can see, if you push it up, you rotate, and this is where your accuracy comes from. Okay, now, I call this, go that way, push your left foot forward. Now I do call this wrong foot forward. The reason we do is so I can lock my hips out. Now if I'm going to throw this ball, I'm already loaded here. Okay? And what I'm looking for here is that I don't get this, because that's what you're going to get. That was much better that time. Now just drop the other foot back. Now I got everything in my hands, okay? Okay? So it's just compressing, turn the other way. Now, again, this is for which foot I'm throwing off of. What we're going to do is, I'm going to start running in place. And once I start running in place, he runs in place, then I'm going to start running at him. He's going to back. At some point, he's going to just throw the hands up. What was wrong with that one? I call it pulling the shade. Okay, the ball's going to go down. Better. Okay, it's just a simple thing. So you do that, and again, he's not worrying which foot that he's on. Because again, if I'm here, I'm gonna follow through anyway. Okay? And then you can do, you've all done the line drill across the field, but again, no matter whether if I'm going this way, okay, I'm gonna turn it, step in a circle. Because we can use him in that. Any questions? Like I said, if there's anything you need, I got to stop because a 68-year-old arm doesn't only throw so much.